equations. And what a rational equation is an equation that has at least one rational fraction in it, in the problem. And your job is to find a common denominator, a least common denominator, and you're gonna take that least common denominator and you're gonna multiply each of the terms by that common denominator to get rid of the denominators. We're gonna turn these into equations that we solved like in 9th grade, like simple linear equations or quadratic equations. Sometimes they're quadratic.
So you would have to factor them out.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so look at example 1. Example 1. We've got 3 terms. See, this is an equation. We have 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. We've got a 4, a 2, and a 4. What's the least common denominator of 4, 2, and 4?
2.
What is it?
2.
No, least common denominator would be 4. So I'm going to write over here, it says 3x over 4 plus 1/2 equals 2x minus 3 over 4. That's our problem. I left some space. So what you're going to do is you are going to multiply each of these by 4. I'm going to multiply this by 4, this by 4, and this by 4. Why 4? Because these are going to cancel, these are going to cancel, and 2 goes into 4 how many times? 2 times. What have I done? What have I done by using the number 4? What have I done? Since we hate fractions, what have we done? We've eliminated all the fractions. We no longer have fractions. We hate fractions so much, I've given you a way to get rid of them as quickly as possible. That next line, there should be no fractions. So what you have here, if these 2 4's canceled out, what's left here? 3x plus, now 2 goes into 4 2 times, so you have 2 times 1, which is 2. These 4's canceled out.
Equals 2x minus 3.
Yep. Now this is a linear, it's a linear equation like chapter 2, like the 9th grade problems that you did. How do you solve this? It's a variable, it's 1x, it's an x. How do you solve this? How do you solve this for x? Subtract. Then what? What's x? X is -5. Now, could we check this answer? Absolutely. How could we check this answer? Anyone know?
Plug it in.
Where would you plug it in?
For the x's.
If you would replace right here, if you would substitute -5, you would want to make sure that the left side, do all the math, the left side equals the right side. You want to check your answers. Now, what don't you want in the denominator of any fraction? What don't you want? A 0. When could you get a 0? When could you potentially get a 0? When could you get a 0? When you have a variable. So what you want to do is check if you have a variable, like this problem has only numbers. There's no variables here. So whenever you have a problem that has letters in it, like this one, or we have some examples on the back page, you're going to do the problem. And if you get a number that when you plug it in here, if it turns your denominator into a 0, it's called an extraneous solution. You're going to throw that answer in the garbage. So for example, I'm going to show you some examples. Look at this example. You've got x minus 2 and x plus 2. Let's pretend like we came up with x equals 2 or negative 2. Those are garbage. Those are extraneous. Why? If we got x is 2 or negative 2, why are those extraneous?
Like 0.
Because you would get a 0 in the denominator. So any number in the world except 2 or negative 2 for this particular problem is okay. But 2 and negative 2 are not good solutions for this problem. For this problem, 5 is bad and negative 1/2 is bad. Those are bad, two bad answers. This one, anything's good, because these are just numbers. This one, anything's good, because they're numbers. What wouldn't you want for 3? Could I get a 0? Could I get a 1? Could I get a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? How about a negative 1? Could I get a negative 1? No. Negative 1 is bad. Why is negative 1 bad? Because I get a 0 here. So all real numbers except negative 1. This one, all real numbers except? Good. What about this one?
Negative 3, negative 6.
0.
No, all real numbers. I don't see any letters here. All real numbers. All real numbers. All real numbers. This one, all real numbers except negative 3 and negative 4. This factors to be these two, by the way. How about 9? All real numbers except 3 and negative 3. This one, all real numbers except 5 and negative 1/2. Because this factors to be this times that. Okay? So, go back to example 2. I would like you to rewrite this problem. It says 4 over 1 minus 3 over x equals 5 over 2. Can anyone tell me what the common denominator is? Least common denominator is?
Is it 2x?
Good, 2x. Anyone else have a different suggestion? 2x is correct.
So you gotta multiply everything by 2x?
Yep, 2x.
How did you get 2x?
Because you look at these numbers, 1x and 2x, or 1x and 2. 2x is your common denominator. So if you look at your numbers, we've got a 1 and a 2. The least common multiple of 1 and 2 is 2. And then for x, we have x. It's 2x. So what cancels? Okay, well, there's nothing to cancel here, so what's 2x times 4?
8x.
Yep, 8x. Okay, what cancels here? Yep, these x's cancel, so what's 2 times 3?
6.
Good.
Is it a negative 3? Is it minus or is it?
Well, yeah, I'm just bringing the minus
Oh,
down.
sorry.
Same thing. Then what cancels here?
The 2.
Good.
So it's
So what do you
5x?
have?
5x,
Mhm.
right?
Okay, what do we do next?
Add the 6 minus 5.
Yeah. Minus
You
Or
could-
minus 8x.
Or you could, yeah, you could minus the 8x, some people will do that. Doesn't matter. What do you get?
2.
Mm-hmm. Is 2 okay? Yep. The only number you didn't want to get was 0. And we didn't get it, we got 2.
So if you do get 0, then what?
Throw it out, you would say no solution.
Okay.
It would be
But you have
extraneous.
to do the whole problem and figure out that 0.
Yep. And there is one that it happens to.
Yeah.
Yay. Sorry.
So there's no way you can find out it's 0.
Hmm?
There's no way you can find out it's 0 before that.
Mm-mm. No way. It happens rarely, but it does happen. Okay, number 3. How will you rewrite this problem? First, rewrite it.
X
Put the
over
negative 5
1.
over 1 and then it's over 1.
X over 1
X
is
over 1
minus 6 over x.
minus 6 over, I like to leave some
And
space.
then the negative 5 over 1. You times it all by 1x.
Mhm. Triple x. So these cancel.
Is it 2?
Nope, there's no 2.
Wait, did you just not write the 1 because you don't have to?
You don't need to. Yeah. So what do you have here?
X
I'll check
squared.
X squared.
Or, yeah,
Mm-hmm. Minus,
6.
yep.
Negative 5.
Mhm. Now this is a quadratic equation.
Wait, why isn't it not negative 5x?
It is.
Oh, it is, I forgot. Thank you. D'Angelo.
Don't you add the 5x to the other side and then factor?
Yeah, this is a quadratic equation. So the other 2 were linear, this is quadratic. How do we solve quadratics?
You factor.
You get everything to one side. You guys know the routine, right?
Yeah.
Move it to one side. Where should this negative 5x go?
In the middle of x squared.
In the middle. You guys, I'm really impressed.
It would be
Good.
x minus 1 and x plus 6.
I'm really super happy.
X equals 1 and x equals x.
And guess what? They're both, this one happens to come up with 2 good answers.
How do you know they're good answers?
Because
It's not
Because-
0.
Oh, because they got an idea, okay.
as long as it wasn't a 0.
Were you supposed to put the, so that's the restrictions too, the negative, those are the,
The restrictions are 0. X can't be 0.
what about negative, positive 1 and negative 0?
1 and negative 6 are the solutions.
Oh, okay.
These are the answers. Huh? No, they both work.
0 is not a solution either?
0 is danger. 0 is what you don't want.
I thought the answers were 0, 1, and
Nope, 0 is what is is what you don't, you never want a 0 in the denominator of a fraction, it's undefined. 0 is not a good answer. Okay, go to the back. Caution, write small. caution, write small. Okay. Now, what should you do with this x squared minus 4? Yes, so I want you to do that. Anyone think they know what the least common denominator is? What do I wanna put here, here, and here that's gonna knock off all of these? Okay, if I put an x plus 2 here, and an x plus 2 here, and an x plus 2 here, is that gonna eliminate all of these?
No.
No. What do I need? I need an x plus 2 and a,
X minus 2.
that's it.
2 times by both of them?
Yep. So you're gonna put an x minus 2 and an x plus 2 here, an x minus 2 and an x plus 2 here, an x minus 2 and an x plus 2 here. So what's gonna happen? These two are gonna knock these two out. So you have just 3x. The x minus 2 crosses that out, so you have 1 times x plus 2.
Holy cow.
And this x plus 2 cancels with this x plus 2, so you have 2 times x minus 2. So you want just enough to get rid of all the denominators. Just enough to get rid of all the denominators. Okay, so what are you gonna do next?
Distribute the 1 to the third.
So is it 4 plus 2 and combine
4x plus 2. Then what?
Subtract 2x and every 2 times
Subtract 2. What's x?
that. 3, right?
Mm-hmm. Is it okay that we get negative 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. As long as we didn't get 2 or negative 2. We're okay.
Oh, I thought you couldn't just get 0. I thought that was.
Yeah, the bottom just can't equal zero. So in that case,
You can't, this cannot be set, if you set x
So if you
minus
would've
2.
got a 2 or a negative 2,
It would've been
then
this.
it would equal 0, so.
Okay, this is the hardest one. It's not too bad though. It says 22 over 2p squared minus 9p minus 5 minus 3 over 2p plus 1 equals 2 over p minus 5. Now, this has to be these are one of those ugly ones to factor, but I'm gonna give you a hint. This factors into this times this.
So you times both of them.
Yeah.
You take both of them.
So-
times by everything.
So this is a trinomial, and the factors are 2p plus 1 times p minus 5. Do you see it? because 2p times negative 5 is negative 10p, plus 1p is negative 9p. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So step 1 is to factor all of your terms completely. And chances are, they're gonna do exactly what I just said. If one is not factored, the one is gonna be what the other two are. And that was my gut, is that this was these two. And it is, it worked. I just double checked. So what are you going to multiply this by, and this by?
The 2p plus 1
These
is
two.
2 minus 5.
So, what you can do is exactly what we did on this one. You could write this here, here, and here. Or what you could do is what? Anyone have a suggestion so it's not so messy? Common sense, what do you think you're gonna do?
Well, the first one, both of them cancel out.
Right, so you just write a what?
22.
Uh-huh. Then what?
Then the second one-
We're gonna have to times the top by p minus 5.
Yeah.
Yep,
Then the last one, you times it by the 2p plus 1.
you got it. Be careful here, you got negative 3 times negative 5, which is 15. 4p plus 2. Okay, so, be careful here, we got negative 3p. And this is gonna be 37.
37 minus.
You're not gonna be happy with the results.
It's gonna be 0.
I'm gonna add negative 3p over here, you get 7p. I'm gonna subtract 2. And p is what? P is 5.
That means, yep, you get a 0.
That means no solution. Why?
Because there would be a 0 in the denominator of a fraction and that kind of.
If we plug a 5 right here, if we put a 5 right in this spot, what is 5 minus 5?
0.
Can we ever have a 0 in the denominator of a fraction? Never, ever, ever, ever. Can you ever have a 0 in the denominator of a fraction? So is my answer 5?
No, the answer
There's
is
no
solution.
solution.
What would you call this answer?
Extraneous.
It's extraneous. This problem does not have a solution. We would call 5 an extraneous solution. The next 10 problems are called homework.
Okay.
Now, do you remember back in middle school or in 9th grade, when they gave you two fractions, that's a fraction, that's a rational expression, and that's a rational expression. When you had two fractions, there was another way that you could solve these, and it was,
Cross multiply.
yeah, you could do that on these two, actually 3, actually 4 problems. You could cross multiply. Cross multiply, what's 1 times 12?
12.
And then 4 times x plus 2. So you could, on these ones, you could cross multiply. Only if you have two fractions, but you can't cross multiply on 5 and 6.
Because there's 3.
5, yep, because now you have to get a common denominator. So on 5, you have to multiply everything by 6. On 6, you would have to multiply everything by 8. But if there's only 2 fractions, you can cross multiply. So please do this homework. It will be on YouTube today. These 10 is due tomorrow. Okay?